I'm gonna keep it heavy
Yeah,
here because I don't
yeah,
want you to cry or anything, but um, the hardest part for me last season, there was one thing that was very, very difficult for me to deal with as a reporter, and it was the Terrence Shannon Jr. situation. I had sat down with him, if you remember,
yeah,
days before everything came out, and you know what I thought of Terrence,
yeah,
sweetest kid in the world.
yep.
And as a reporter, Brad, we it's hard to know how to handle these things because I can come out and say, hey, my personal relationships are this, but obviously we know there was something that got to trial. And I always say, if there's an accusation, I'm not touching. I'm not writing about it. I don't want to write about it until, but if it becomes something where obviously charges are filed, we have to report on the facts of this thing. How difficult was it for you to watch this thing unfold the way it did, to go through it all year? You couldn't really comment at all. And then he gets found, obviously, at the end of all this, not guilty. What was this whole situation like for you as his coach and somebody who knew him so well?
That was in layers. That there were different moments of that whole process, and you to say it didn't entail every emotion, but the one thing that happened when Terrence came back and played, I have never seen a group of guys, his teammates and coaches, happier because it speaks volumes to how he was as a person and as a teammate. Um, and then to almost get angry sometimes at the things crowds said and people said, but yet you can never say anything. But to see how he handled it, much better than I would have handled. I mean, he truly never let the crowds and any of that just no show. I mean, where it showed. But his concern was mostly for his mom sitting in the stands,
Yeah,
um, his family and everybody that had to go through that, and then to have the court case play out the way it did was, you know, I try to never be, but it was just it was a there were so many emotions in that thing, Jeff, and it was, but the biggest thing I'll always remember about Terrence was how proud I was of him for the way that he handled it, the kindness that he showed towards his teammates, the support he showed for his teammates, the concern for his mother, all of that stuff was way more jump out and just shock you because I mean this young man could have gone a lot of ways
sure.
when all that stuff happened, and man, he was um
Mature beyond his years, right?
mature, and he knew the what was in his heart, what had happened. His faith was never in doubt, and it was just um the process that he had to go through, and so it was just a lot of really a lot of different emotions out there at different times of the year. But boy, was I um and I was proud of our team.
Yeah,
We played 6 games without him, and the way they responded, and
yeah.
and the way that group it's very hard for 18 to 22-year-olds to not say anything on social media when they're talking about a teammate or anything like that. And just the understanding that that group had was pretty special.